Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Nicolette Hodge, and welcome to We Reflect the Light. Sisters and brothers, the war in the Middle East is in full throttle, full action. And this war is all about us, sisters and brothers. It's about our vision, our inheritance, our covenant, and the fact that all of our enemies are working together to prevent us from reclaiming what belongs to us. Now, understand that no weapon formed against us will prosper, sisters and brothers. And deception is one of the devil's main weapons. Deception, tricking us. They're trying to deal with us shrewdly. However, the unsealed scriptures identifies all of their plans. So we're given information on our enemies' plans against us. Therefore, that weapon of deception, although they're trying to deceive us, they will not be successful. No weapon will prosper. No weapon formed against us will prosper. So I'm paraphrasing here. However, they are desperately trying to prevent us from rising as one mighty nation, sisters and brothers. So we're going to start off in the book of Exodus. We're going to identify two major points of these devils' shrewd plans against us, which again, they're trying to deal with us shrewdly. However, they will not be successful. We're going to identify the war, who's involved, who's aligned on each side, and the outcome of the war. Then we'll identify the effects of the war, how the war is going to affect the original Black man and woman right here in North America, as well as how this war is going to affect America's economy. We're going to identify those who claim to be us, those who claim to be the true seed of Abraham, and what the outcome is for that group of people. Excuse me, sisters and brothers. We're going to identify the severity of the outcome of the war in the Middle East. And our vision, the true history of the original Black man and woman. Then we'll end off with inspiration motivation, and reassurance that we will be protected. We will protect ourselves. And overcome all of our enemies and make our exodus out of America. So let's get right into it, sisters and brothers. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, lest they multiply. And if war breaks out, they join our enemies and fight against us and escape from the land. So, they're trying to deal shrewdly with us. They want to prevent our multiplication. Multiplication, that's our reproduction. These devils know that we are stronger and mightier than them. So they want to make sure our numbers are very low, trying to control our reproduction. They are scared. They fear a war breaking out, us joining America's enemies, fighting against America, and escaping from America. And that right there lets you know that we are being held captive right here in the land of our imprisonment. That also lets you know that they're guilty. They're guilty of harming us in some type of way, which we'll get into that, because they're fearful of us turning against them. And if they were good to us, righteous towards us, if they behaved kind towards us, then there's nothing to fear. However, this scripture right here lets you know that these devils are anticipating consequence for something they did to us. Because us turning against America, that's a consequence. See, they don't realize we were never with them to begin with. However, they have maintained control of us for the last 400 plus years. And what did they do to us? What did they do to us that is causing them to fear us rising up and retaliating against them? So we're going to break that down, sisters and brothers, because that gets into our history. So we're going to get into our history, and we're going to identify that first part of them trying to prevent our multiplication. We're going to identify how they went about doing that. Let's keep moving. The Holocaust. The Holocaust is our full experience. The Holocaust is our true experience. This is the term that identifies our true history right here in America. Not slavery. Slavery does not include affliction. So that right there is labeling our experience of slavery is a lie, because it does not begin to fully identify what we have endured at the hands of these devils. The Holocaust. A system of horror and terror the quality of our experience being under the rulership of these devils. Slavery does not include being boiled to death. Slavery does not include these devils knocking our teeth down our throat as they funnel shit down our throats and then put muzzles on us to prevent us from spitting it out. Also using those muzzles to prevent us from eating the produce, the crops that we were producing, growing while working in the fields. So we were not even allowed. Understand that slavery, maximum profit, minimum overhead, is a system of capitalism. It's an economic situation. We produced these devils' food. We worked the land in the fields, growing, forcing the earth to grow food. We were not allowed to eat any of the food that we produced. So these devils got the maximum amount of labor out of us. Maximum profit. And gave us just enough to keep us alive, the minimum overhead. So they fed us shitlins. The parts of the pig that they didn't want to eat, the trash. They maintained that system of capitalism with horror and terror. So they identified who they are by how they treated us, how they conducted themselves towards us. Because if they were righteous people, as they claim to be, they would have done righteous things to us. However, being that they are devils, and they are weak and wicked by nature, they did wicked things to us. So let's keep moving. They want to prevent our multiplication. They tried to prevent us from reproducing. And how did they do that? Scriptures tells us exactly how they did it. The parable of the wheat and the tares. Another parable he put forth to them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. Only humans can sow seed, sisters and brothers. So this is identifying a reproductive scenario in which a man sowed good seed in his field. That means he impregnated his woman. The field is her womb. He sowed good seed in his field. So he sowed good seed in his field. That's his woman. He put his seed in his woman. That's how it's supposed to go. No issues there. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tare among the wheat and went his way. So an enemy, a totally different bloodline, came and put his seed into the same womb while her man was sleeping. So this is identifying the original Black woman's experience throughout the Holocaust. These devils raped us around the clock, relentlessly, incessantly, nonstop. We were not allowed. They tried to prevent us from reproducing with our own man. So these devils went to war against our seed. This is a reproductive battle right here. But while men slept, his enemy came. That's a level of deception right there. Trying to deal with us shrewdly, sneaking, trying to trick us. However, these devils have not gotten away with a damn thing. And what they did to us has been identified right here in the next, as we keep going in this parable. Let's keep going. So these devils raped us and they put their seed in our wombs. All right. And what did that produce, sisters and brothers? But when the grain had sprouted and produced a crop, then the tares also appeared. What are our tares? Tares is another word for chaff, sisters and brothers. The wheat and the chaff. Two different groups of people, two different bloodlines, two different natures, two different seeds. So the original Black man and original Black woman produce wheat because we are wheat. Wheat identifies the original bloodline. With the devils coming and raping us and forcing us to produce their tares, that's identifying another group of people with a different bloodline that look just like the wheat, but they are not wheat. So again, trying to deal with us shrewdly. These devils camouflage themselves amongst us. So now, we are dealing with another nation amongst the wheat that look like us. They have our skin tone. They have black skin. However, they have devil blood running through their veins. Therefore, they are Europeans and black skin. So another level of deception and how they are trying to deal with us shrewdly. Verse 27. So the servants of the owner came and said to him, Sir, did you not sow good seed in your field? How then does it have tares? He said to them, An enemy has done this. Again, an enemy. So this is identified right here in the parable that we know what these devils are trying to do. Trying to wipe our seed out of existence. So they're not getting away with anything. The servant said to him, Do you want us then to go and gather him up. But he said, no, lest while you gather up the tares, you also uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow together unto the harvest, and at the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, first gather together the tares and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So these two groups of Black people, the wheat and the tares, the saints and the demons, understand that demon means half devil, half man. Demon. They have the skin tone of their mother, the original Black woman. However, the bloodline and the nature of their Caucasian fathers. So these two groups, the original Blacks and the European Blacks, are not to be separated into a certain time period, the harvest, which is when all Blacks come together. Because to try to separate them too early would uproot, would damage the wheat. So this is horror, sisters and brothers. This is affliction. Slavery doesn't include trying to rape our seed out of existence. They're trying to deal with us shrewdly. However, the other part of this is that our original Black women, warrior queens, we did not allow these devils to succeed in this plan against us. And being the warrior queens that we are, we stood up for our nation and continue to stand up for our nation in a time of need without someone saying, do this. So we took that initiative because we saw what they were doing to us. We saw that they were trying to totally eradicate our original seed, trying to totally eradicate our bloodline. So we snuck to procreate with our man, ensured that we kept multiplying, ensured that we kept reproducing, even though it was hard and it was painful, because we gave birth to our own babies, some of which we never saw again after we pushed our babies out. However, we knew that we were keeping our seed alive. And we knew that our men, our baby boys, would grow up to be men and avenge us. Paying these devils back for everything that they have done to us. So we made a heavy sacrifice. And we are the evidence today that we were and will continue to be successful in overcoming all of these plans that these devils have against us and all of the rest of our enemies. They're trying to deal with us shrewdly, are not successful, have not succeeded, and will not succeed against us, period. Let's keep moving. All right? Our father Abram's vision of horror. When the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterwards shall they come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age, and in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between those pieces. Sisters and brothers, we are the only people on the planet that fit the description of what our father Abram identified that his seed would endure. Know of a surety, sisters and brothers, that means that this is not a critical race theory. This is not a guess. This is not a might be. This is a definite. And our history is recorded facts. So these devils, they do not even want to tell their own children how wicked they are. So they want to whitewash our experience. They're calling it slavery. However, slavery is only 1% of our experience. It says that we shall serve them and they shall afflict us. That's 2 different things right there. For how long? 400 years. So this went on from 1619 to 2019. And it shares, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. Understand that we are our ancestors, and the devils are their ancestors as well. Everyone is back through the womb, sisters and brothers. So that nation that we served, which is America, and also that nation, the entire Caucasian nation. We're focusing on America for this part, sisters and brothers. That nation that we served is under judgment. So they want to say, oh, I didn't have anything to do with slavery. That was hundreds of years ago, but they did. They're included because they did do it to us. It shares that nation, not individual, that nation. So they can't wiggle their way out of this. How do we know the time period of the judgment, of the 400 years, sisters and brothers? 1619 to 2019. 2020, the judgment started. 2020 came in with a plague, passing over those with the blood of the Lamb. That means the same blood, the same DNA as the Lamb himself, which is an original black man. So COVID-19 passed over original blacks all over the world. While dropping these devils like flies all over the world. Right here in America, in Europe, severely staggering their numbers. Over in false Israel, They got hit hard. And that was just the beginning of the judgment. They're still dealing with COVID-19 till this very day. And they tried to confuse us. They knew that the plague was passing over us, so they produced that jab to try to kill us off. They told us that we were most susceptible to COVID-19. However, they didn't identify that their black-faced children were predominantly the ones dying from the plague because they have the same DNA as their devil fathers. Therefore, the plague did not pass over them. They do not have the blood of the Lamb. So they put all blacks under this umbrella. However, there are two groups of blacks right here in America: the wheat and the chaff, the wheat and the tares, the demons and the saints. Two groups of black people that look just alike, but have different bloodlines. So that's the 400 years. That's how we can identify when the 400 years ended. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterward shall they come out with great substance. That means we're coming out with great wealth, sisters and brothers. We are coming out with great wealth. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Go where, sisters and brothers? We're coming out and we're going to our fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation, which we are in right now, they shall come hither again. Hither means return. Where are we returning to, sisters and brothers? For the iniquity of the Amorite is not yet full. So sojourning in a land that is not ours, that means we're here temporarily. And it shares this land is not ours. So that means anyone telling you that this is our land and to accept reparations, which we'll get into that here shortly, anyone saying that is going directly against the scriptures, therefore calling God a liar, and is our enemy, totally against us. Because they're telling us don't listen to the scriptures. Listen to what they want, their agenda. However, the scriptures is extremely clear. This is not our land. We are here temporarily and we are coming out. And we are returning. Returning where, sisters and brothers? And that day God made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. The land between those two rivers is Arabia, sisters and brothers. Arabia is our promised land. Arabia is our heavenly home. The root of civilization. A land flowing with milk and honey, the best part of the planet Earth. This is more than a promise. This is God's sure and volatile word. And our land has been given to us. So it's already ours. And no one can take it away from us. This is our vision, sisters and brothers. And the Abrahamic covenant is in the process of being fulfilled. We are also given a messenger of the covenant, bringing us the message of the covenant. Identifying our vision, one vision for us to unite under, sisters and brothers. This is the direction that we are going. So it's no coincidence that our home, our heavenly home, Arabia, is in the Middle East, and the war in heaven is on right now. The war in the Middle East is in action right now. So that brings us to the book of Revelations. And occurred war in the heaven. The Michael and the angels of him to war with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it. And not it proved strong. Not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. And was thrown the dragon the great, the serpent the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. So this is identifying the war in the Middle East. We're given the location, occurred war in the heaven. Heaven is the Middle East, sisters and brothers. We are given the participants, Michael and his angels versus the dragon and his angels. We are given the outcome. The dragon and his angels are defeated. They are thrown out of the Middle East. So we know exactly how this war is going to turn out. It's not going to end in a peace talk. It's ending in the defeat of the dragon and his angels and the victory of Michael and his angels. So who are those characters? Who are those participants? Michael is our God, Master Farad Muhammad. His angels are brothers, Iran and Syria. Michael and his angels is our people, sisters and brothers. We have the same bloodline. They are original. And they are fighting on our behalf, sisters and brothers. The dragon and his angels, the dragon is the house of Sod. The house of Sod is sitting on our land, Arabia, and has renamed our land Saudi Arabia. So that's a red flag. They put their name on our land. The dragon's angels are America, Britain, and false Israel. The dragon fuels his angels. The dragon's angels' economy, America, Britain, false Israel's economy, is dependent on oil. However, we know that the dragon will be defeated and his angels will be defeated. The dragon and his angels will be thrown out of the Middle East. Now, how will this affect America? There are stages to the defeat of the dragon and his angels. We know first, the dragon, America and Britain, will be kicked out of the Middle East. They will be thrown out of heaven. Not walking out, not calm. This is a violent, aggressive removal of the dragon and his angels from out of heaven. So how is that going to affect America? How's that going to affect America's economy? And with us being held here captive in the land of our imprisonment, we're being held captive here in America. How will that affect us while we're still here? Let's keep moving. America is already feeling the pressure of their looming defeat with the Strait of Hormuz being blocked. This has already disrupted America's economy in a way that they're not going to be able to come back from. In the war, America hasn't even been defeated yet. It's not over. It's not done. However, once America is thrown out of the Middle East by Iran and Syria, who's being backed by our God, Master Farad Muhammad, the House of Saud will be thrown out. Iran is going to take control of our oil, of our land, of our resources, our holy sites. And Iran is going to turn off America's oil supply from the Middle East altogether. No more oil, no more fuel, period. And that's going to cause an economic collapse, economic destruction for America. Now I'm going to put focus on false Israel. Because America and Britain are backing, they established false Israel in 1948, and they are backing and supporting false Israel 100%. False Israel claims that they are God's chosen people. Give me one moment, sisters and brothers. All right. But when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know that her desolation is near. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let those in the city get out, and let those in the country stay out of the city. For these are the days of vengeance, to fulfill all that is written. All right. False Israel, established in Jerusalem, the Holy Land, in 1948. America and Britain established false Israel in a land that does not belong to them. Okay? Why? We are the true seed of Abraham. We have the history to document our claim. We have the proof. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was on the scene from the 1930s until 1975, preaching that we are the true seed of Abraham. In 1948, America and Britain tried to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim by establishing false Israel. All right? They were just on board with killing the Jews off. However, they could not have us walking around knowing that we are the true seed of Abraham and that we have an inheritance. Because that vision is very powerful. So they went into action, they went into motion to block our vision. So they put false Israel over in Jerusalem. However, scriptures tells us that when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you will know that her desolation, which means destruction, is near. So that means that false Israel is about to be destroyed. We know that it's not talking about the original black man and woman, because it says that when we'll be placed back in our land, never to be uprooted again. Scripture says we'll go home in peace. False Israel is not at peace. And with them being uprooted and destroyed, says her destruction is near. That's not a maybe, that's not a might be, that's a definite. So it's clear that they are not who they claim to be. Period. They are not the seed of Abraham. They are the seed of the devil. False Israel is the synagogue of Satan. Those who call themselves Jews are not. They are liars. I'm paraphrasing. However, it identifies in the book of Revelations the true identity of false Israel, which is Satan. And Satan is the god of this world. Satan is controlling this reality, controlling the schooling. That's where we get our information from. Controlling the media. That's also where we get information from. Let's keep moving. False Israel has their foot on our back, holding us down. False Israel is Satan. Satan is the god of this world. They're controlling this entire reality. And they have put a black face They have camouflaged themselves in black skin to deceive us about what's really going on. So over the Nation of Islam, Louis Farrakhan is sitting in Elijah Muhammad's seat. However, he is a black-faced Jew. We'll get into that further. However, the point of the matter is that false Israel controls this reality. And they are holding us down, sisters and brothers. However, the scriptures tells us in the book of Deuteronomy, the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. Right now, we're at the bottom. However, we will be the head. You will only move upward and never downward. If you hear and carefully follow the commandments of the Lord your God, which I am giving you today. So, this verse right here is letting you know that we are going to rise up. It says you will only move upward, not downward. That's rising up, sisters and brothers. However, that force that's holding us down has to be eradicated. So back to the war in the Middle East. America and Britain and the House of Assad are going to be removed first. And false Israel, who is totally dependent on the support and aid of America and Britain, both military backing, resources, money, etc. All of that will be gone. False Israel will be left stranded to go under siege. And they will be humiliated, just as they have humiliated, starved, bombed, murdered the Palestinians, as well as the horror and affliction that false Israel has put the original black man and woman through right here in North America. So, false Israel is about to be destroyed. And once they're destroyed and that false vision of them being the true seed of Abraham is destroyed, our vision will come forth. Our vision, our rise, our unity under our vision will be magnified, pronounced. And they can't have that. Because it's all over for them. Once we rise, our rise is their demise. Our rise is their destruction. And they know that. So they are desperately attempting to prevent our rise by any means necessary, sisters and brothers. Any means necessary. However, they can't stop this. And the more that they resist, the harder it's going to be for them. The harder the backfire is. So this is what they're out to prevent, sisters and brothers. Now let's keep moving. Let's get back to the economic collapse, all right? Because how is that going to affect America? How is the economic collapse going to affect America? America needs oil to do everything. America is totally dependent upon oil to have transportation, to have clean water, to have electricity, to have food. They need oil for everything. And without oil, they have nothing. Total economic destruction. And when there's no food, what will they eat? Total economic collapse, sisters and brothers. Now, we have been promised our own economics. We have been given our own land, Arabia. So we don't need their economic system. We want complete and total separation. And we want to go home. We have a vision. However, again, going back to Exodus, they do not want us to leave the country. So they are trying to prevent us from doing so. So total economic destruction. Now, what is Farrakhan telling us? Scriptures tells us that America will be destroyed. All right? We're being told to come out of America, return to our land. It's clear exactly where our land is, Arabia. However, what is Farrakhan saying?
We have to press the government for reparations. Come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then. You better start smoking what this is. Because that mess that you're talking ain't making no damn sense.
That's right.
You're going to wait around here another 100 years so they can bamboozle you some more?
That's right. Right.
He said, well, 8 or 10 states, let them go out, we go in, and let them take care of us in that separate territory for the next 20 to 25 years. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, they won't do that. Listen, they've been taking care of Israel for 55 years. They've given Israel over 100 billion of your tax dollars, and Israel haven't done nothing for them. You mean to tell me we who built the country, we who bled and died to maintain the country, we who gave it art and culture and season it, and you know we can't get along with you in peace as long as we want equal justice? Hell no, we can't wait for you to change. We want a nation. We want to be able to prepare a future for our children. We don't need no rich middle class of Negroes who can't do nothing for the masses of our people. We need land and territory that we can call our own. So reparation got to be on the agenda.
All right. Why is Farrakhan talking about reparations when the scriptures are clear? Elijah Muhammad said that we would be fools to stay in the land of our imprisonment. The Abrahamic covenant is clear. So why is Farrakhan talking about reparations? That's not a vision. We have a vision. Reparations is a dream. It's a wish. Why is he talking about staying here in America when it's clear that we are to come out of America? Well, let's look at Farrakhan's bloodline. He is the seed of his Portuguese Jew devil father named Percival Clark, who raped Farrakhan's black mother and forced her to produce his devil seed. So Farrakhan is a demon, a product of rape. This gets back to the parable of the wheat and the tares, which tares is another name for chaff. Farrakhan looks like us. However, he has a different bloodline. So he is camouflaged amongst the original nation. However, he's really a Caucasian and black skin. So he looks like us. He doesn't talk like us. He's saying he wants to stay here. He wants to stay with his devil fathers. He doesn't want to leave America. Okay, and that's fine. He has no part of the Abrahamic covenant. The problem is the deception. He looks like us. Therefore, our sisters and brothers are getting caught up. Well, scripture says that those that are over there are not even with him. However, with him blocking our vision, that skin tone right there gives a certain level of trust. Somebody who looks just like you is telling you this is the way to go. You're thinking, oh, that's one of my people. However, that's not the case. Again, they are trying to deal with us shrewdly. And this demon plague is part of their shrewd plans. However, they will not be successful. So Farrakhan is saying that we need to stay here. Why would we want to be here? For America's destruction. We see this economic strain that America is under, and it's only getting worse. Gas prices are continuously rising. Food prices are continuously rising. And famine is right around the corner. Why would we want to be here for America's destruction? Scripture specifically tells us, come out of her, my people, so that you don't share part of her plagues. And it identifies that these plagues are coming for the sins that she's committed against us. So why would we want to partake in America's judgment? Instead of handing out the judgment, why would we want to receive judgment for something that we didn't even do? We're to give America back double. That means vengeance. That means retaliation. All right, we're not the aggressors. However, we will defend ourselves. However, the point of the matter is that we are to pay America back double and go home. And he's telling us to stay here. So he's trying to set us up to be destroyed right along with America. He despises the Abrahamic covenant. The Abrahamic covenant is our inheritance. It is our reward. However, it is exclusively for the seed of Abraham, which Farrakhan is not the seed of Abraham. He is the seed of his devil father. So he's telling us to stay here. How does Farrakhan feel about us? How does he talk about us? How does he view us? Because that's clear as well, and the scriptures tells us.
We have to.
Let's keep moving.
Yes. When the Muslims were alive, I'll say it again. When the Muslims were alive, you dead as hell now on both sides.
Yes, sir, Brother Minister. Yes, you are. Yes, Wake us up, the apostle.
When we was alive, we set up schools.
That's right.
When we were alive, we had supermarkets.
Right. That's right.
We owned buildings.
That's right.
We owned farmland.
That's right.
We were busy doing something, hiring our people. Well, I'm telling the Muslims, damn it, if you don't come alive, you will die like you are. And I will say, thank you, Allah, because if they're not doing nothing on top of the earth, let the worms eat their ass.
Farrakhan wishes death on us. He prays to Allah that the worms eat our ass. He's totally against us. He hates us. While the war is going on in the Middle East, the very next verse identifies what's going to happen right here in America, in the Nation of Islam, which Farrakhan is sitting in Elijah's seat, claiming that he is the Messiah. However, the scriptures doesn't back up what he's claiming that he is. He claims he's the Messiah, yet he is accusing us day and night. That's not the works of the Messiah. So back to the book of Revelations. And I heard voice great in the heavens saying, right now became the salvation and the power and the kingdom of the God of us and the authority of the Christ of him. Because was thrown the accuser of the brothers of us, the accusing them in sight of the God of us of day and of night. Farrakhan is accusing us around the clock, always accusing us relentlessly. He says that we ain't going nowhere. We don't get a reward for the affliction that we endured because we deserved it, because we're sinful. And you don't get a reward for being punished. So there's no coincidence that as his devil fathers are being thrown out of the Middle East and false Israel is undergoing siege and destruction, Farrakhan will also be thrown out of the Nation of Islam. He will be cast down from within. So he's on the same wavelength and frequency as his devil fathers. They experience defeat at the same time. So everything comes together. All the pieces of the puzzle, the whole picture comes together as to what's going on right now and what we are to expect any moment. It's crystal clear how this is going to turn out, what events will happen and in the sequence that it will happen. And since the war in the Middle East is in full action, we know any day Farrakhan is about to be thrown out, cast down from the Nation of Islam. And he will no longer be in leadership. So yes. It shares men's hearts, failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Heaven is the Middle East. The earth, America, and the rest of the Caucasian nation. However, I'm going to focus on America right now. So it hasn't came yet. However, the mere anticipation of what is seen happening over in the Middle East is going to cause men's heart to fail right here. That means whatever will be witnessed will be so severe that it's going to cause an emotional shock to the point of the heart failing, heart attacks from fear of what's coming here to America. Mere anticipation, heart attacks, strokes, hearts failing, sisters and brothers. However, that's why we are here reflecting the light so that you don't succumb to this situation of hearts failing. So this is being identified beforehand. You're being warned in advance so that you're empowered to accept your vision, accept your true mind, and operate according to your true nature, which is discipline. And part of our discipline is firming our hearts. And with a firm heart, your heart won't fail. Understanding how consequence works, sisters and brothers. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. Understand that according to consequence, we will be victorious. We are victorious. And our victory is going to continue to magnify. They tried to kill us. They tried to eradicate our seed. We overcame that. We were victorious in that battle. When they saw that the plague was passing over us, they tried to kill us off with that jab. We overcame that. We're still standing, sisters and brothers. They put abortions on us, sterilizing us, sterilizing our men, shooting them up with diseases. We're still here. The more they oppressed us, the stronger we came through the womb. Stronger and mightier. So all of this pressure that they have put us under has produced us into diamonds. All that pressure they put on us made us harder and harder and harder, force feeding us shit. Made us stronger. What don't kill you make you stronger, sisters and brothers. So this situation with men's hearts failing is something that we can avoid, and we will avoid being in this situation by applying the information that's being given to us. The unsealed scriptures is our mind, sisters and brothers. And by operating off of our nature, discipline, the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam, that's our protection. and we have our vision. So they can't stop us. Let's keep moving. Economic collapse. All right. What's happening in the Middle East is going to come here to America. Now, when false Israel goes under siege, they're going to, they won't have any food, no water, nothing, no resources. So they're going to experience that economic collapse as well, that economic destruction. And they are going to result to cannibalism. They will be eating their own children. They will be eating each other, drinking each other's blood. So they're going to resort to their nature in full throttle. They have no discipline. And that cannibalism is a result of absolutely no discipline. So the book of Micah tells us, again, what these devils plan to do to us. I said, listen, you leaders of Israel, you are supposed to know right from wrong, but you are the very ones who hate good and love evil. You skin my people alive and tear the flesh from their bones. Yes, you eat my people's flesh. Strip off their skin and break their bones. You chop them up like meat for the cooking pot. Understand that we are classified. They have made it legal to eat us because we are classified as 3/5 a human through the U.S. Constitution. And 3/5 human, that means they're classifying us as animals. Animals are meat, and meat can be eaten. So they have legalized us as their food. And in the situation of a famine, all blacks are on the menu. These devils joke and laugh about what they would do to us. So here you see these devils made a cake of a black man and are showing the cannibalistic nature because they are beasts. They are animals. And this is something that is fun to them. Now let's hear out of their own mouths what they're saying they would do in a situation of famine.
I'll admit it. I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years because I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up. And you know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. See, my superpower is being honest. I'll eat your. I will. I'm combat model, optimal self-sufficiency. Probably the leader. The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor, how I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his up? I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry. I will eat your. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your first. I will eat you. So all you spirit cookers act all tough all day. How you're doing your little satanic rituals, drinking blood and stuff. I'll drink your blood. You understand that? I will hang your up and cut you into cutlets like a filet mignon and grill your before I watch my daughters starve to death. See, now you took society and civilization as if it was some joke you could piss on all day. Didn't you understand? You unleash the animal wants you to, you unleash the beast, and you're not the beast. I don't claim I'm the most tough guy around, but compared to you, I'm Godzilla on steroids.
There you have it, sisters and brothers. Out of their own mouths. Understand that he said that he would eat his neighbor. The scriptures identifies clearly what they're going to be doing. And before they even touch each other or their pets, they're going to do what's already legal. Which is eating Black people. Tearing our flesh from our bones, chopping us up like meat for the cooking pot. Sisters and brothers, you have not seen these devils hungry, famished. You have not seen them in their full beast nature. And let me identify this. In the Holocaust, we've seen these devils' nature due to how they were conducting themselves towards us. The torture, the terror, the dismemberment, the feeding our babies to alligators, tearing our wombs open, using us as medical and science experiments, decapitating and castrating us, castrating our males, sodomizing our men. We have not seen these devils starving. We don't want to be here for this, sisters and brothers. So again, being given this information in advance so that we can be at the right place at the right time, together, one body, strong, mighty army, doing exploits on our way up out of America, heading to the extraction point. You don't want to be here for this, sisters and brothers. Scriptures tells us, come out of her, my people. Farrakhan's telling you get reparations, 6 states. What sense does that make? Being here in the middle of America's judgment, the famine, total economic collapse. These devils coming after us, tearing us to shreds. Why would we want to be here in America, the land of our imprisonment, blood-soaked land? Why would we want to be here, sisters and brothers? Come out, not move next door, not go down the street, not get another state. Come out, complete and total separation. See, but Farrakhan's setting us up to be right there on these devil's dinner plates. He's trying to get us killed, sisters and brothers. However, that deceptive weapon will not prosper. You're being given this information in advance so that you can move accordingly, sisters and brothers. Now, as we wrap up, we're going to identify several verses in the unsealed Bible that identifies our victory, identifies our strength, our courage. And so let's keep moving. Book of Isaiah. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. My servants will eat, but you will starve. My servants will drink, but you will be thirsty. My servants will rejoice, but you will be sad and ashamed. My servants will sing for joy, but you will cry in sorrow and despair. Sisters and brothers, all you have to do is step up and claim your reward. Be yourself. Right now, these devils have us acting other than ourselves. Reclaim your vision. Reclaim your mind. Apply the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam, which is our protection. Our victory is written all over the scriptures, sisters and brothers. So that lets you know right there, that should be a motivation that we will achieve our vision 100%. This famine is not for us. We are not being punished. We are not sinful. We have not done anything wrong. We were told to submit to these devils, and we submitted 100%. However, the time of submission is over, sisters and brothers. And now the command is vengeance. Give them back double and come out. However, we must have a thorough knowledge of self before we're able to return home. So these are all the things that we will achieve, sisters and brothers. We will eat. We will not be reduced to cannibals. We will drink. We will rejoice. We will sing for joy. This is a glorious time, sisters and brothers. The time, the great and the dreadful. Great for us, dreadful for them. Let's keep moving. Joshua, have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid nor dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And this extends to us, sisters and brothers. And I'm coming to you from the female perspective, so I'm directed towards the sisters. We don't have to be fearful. We are commanded. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. So do not be afraid. Afraid, that's fear. So this is telling us right here that we on the right side of this. We have our vision. We know the direction we're going. We know our destination, our promised land, Arabia, and all the things we have to do to accomplish that. Moving in sync with the scriptures, moving on the information that's being given. We will be 100% successful. Have no fear. This is extremely important for our sisters. We are in the time of unprecedented trouble. That means things are going to happen that you've never seen before and never will see again. And that can weigh very heavy on a mother. We are the goddesses of the universe, mothers of civilization. So we need to be courageous. We have nothing to fear. Understand that our children will also eat. Our children will be fed. We don't have to worry. Because the bottom line is that we will be secured. We will be protected. So we don't have to be anxious, nervous, fearful about what is to come because we know in advance. So we are several steps ahead of our enemies and all the rest, all enemies, several steps ahead of our enemies. So we're in a boxing ring. We're in a battle. We know the moves. We know the strikes that the opponent is going to make before he makes it. So we know how to avoid those strikes. We know how to avoid the attacks. Because we know in advance, we're being given this information in advance. They're trying to deal with us shrewdly. They won't be successful. We have intercepted all of their shrewd plans against us. Everything, all of their deepest, darkest secrets, their psychology, all of it has been exposed. The light is shining. And we're reflecting that light. So they have been totally exposed. So they're trying to deal with us shrewdly. However, they will not be successful in anything they set out to do against us. The book of Daniel, and such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries. But the people that know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Again, victory, sisters and brothers. Do these verses sound like someone who is being defeated? Does this sound like somebody who's gone hungry? Does this sound like somebody who's in despair and scared and afraid? Our victory is written all throughout the scriptures, warrior queens. And we have already seen our victory, evidence of our victory, because these devils tried to wipe our seed out of existence, and we were victorious in that battle. We didn't let them win. We defeated these devils. That's why we are standing here today. So that is reassurance that we will be successful. Let's keep moving. Psalms. Oh, love the Lord, all you his saints. That's us, sisters and brothers, saints. For the Lord preserves the faithful and fully repays the proud person. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. All you who hope, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. All you who hope in the Lord. Right, sisters and brothers? Apply the 5 pillars. We know that for every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. So we know that we endured affliction for 400 years. So we know that We have to receive something just as great. However, the opposite but equal to what we endured. Something just as great, something equal but opposite of the horror that we endured, that they inflicted on us. Which we will be receiving our reward. We are receiving our reward. So no matter how they come against us, with us rising above them, they can't touch us. The Lord preserves the faithful. Well, if you preserve something, that means you're saving it. And fully repays the proud person. That's these devils. They're walking around with their chest poked out, their head high, proud. And they don't have a fear of consequence. That's why they did what they did to us. Because they thought they was going to get away with it. That whole reparation scheme. Them trying to get out of their consequence. Because if we accept another form of payment for the affliction that we endured, then that annuls the Abrahamic covenant. And they know that. So understand, also, the Quran tells us that with difficulty is ease, sisters and brothers. So, with difficulty is ease, sisters and brothers. So when it says, when they say, oh, trust in the Lord, what does that mean? What does that mean to trust in the Lord? Well, part of that is trusting, knowing. Faith is tethered to facts. For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. So, trusting in the mathematics, knowing that consequence is at work. You don't necessarily see it, but you see the effects of it. And knowing that there has to be an opposite and equal reaction for us to submitting to these devils, and we did our job. And we're on post right now, standing up for our nation. So there has to be a consequence for that. So trusting in the mathematics, faith, which is the first pillar. So sisters and brothers, again, our victory is written all throughout the scriptures. Let's keep moving. Book of Isaiah, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their vindication is from me. Sisters and brothers, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. And as one of our warrior queens identified, that doesn't mean that they're not going to form weapons against us. They will be forming weapons against us. They're forming weapons against us right now. Them trying to deal with us shrewdly as a weapon they have formed against us. However, it will not prosper. And you will refute every tongue that accuses you. That Farrakhan, he's the accuser of us. So his destruction is identified right here as well. And he's part of that weapon that has been formed against us. He's a devil with our skin tone, a black-faced Caucasian. Again, them trying to deal shrewdly with us, trying to deceive us. Farrakhan is a weapon that they formed against us. However, that weapon will not prosper. So, sisters and brothers, this is our destination. This is our vision. Arabia, our promised land. Our economics that's been given to us. All we have to do is take it. Take what belongs to us. No one can stop that. All they can do is try to trick and deceive us out of it. Get us to give up our inheritance. They can't stop this, sisters and brothers. So understand that this is our vision. Arabia is our destination. And we have a door out of America's destruction, period. Farrakhan doesn't have a door out. These devils don't have a door out. However, the true seed of Abraham, we have a door out of America, sisters and brothers. And it's up to us to come together under our one vision and walk out that door. This is our vision to fulfill, to see through. So with that, sisters and brothers, the war in the Middle East is on. Any day America will be kicked out. There will be a total economic collapse. It's wise for you to get a 30-day supply of food that does not need to be cooked. Have it in your car ready to go. Get you some gas containers, fill them up, sisters and brothers. The gas is only rising. So it's wise to get you some gas now. Have it in your car ready to go. So that when it's time for us to move out, when it's time for us to come together, we won't be uncomfortable, because there is a transition phase that we will be going through from one reality to the next. This reality is being destroyed. Our reality is coming in full throttle. There's a transition phase in there. So we have children, we have babies. We want to keep our children comfortable as much as possible through that transition. It shows that we will eat, we will drink, okay? We will not be reduced to cannibalism. However, the point of the matter is we have to get to the situation, we have to get to the location where the food will be at. There won't be any DoorDash deliveries, Walmart groceries being dropped off. So we have to be thinking strategically about this so that we have babies, we have children. You want to keep them somewhat, as calm and comfortable as possible through that transition period. So have yourself a 30-day supply of food. That is the logical thing to do. Food that does not need to be cooked. Don't tell anyone where your food is or that you even have it. Just do it. Be prepared. Be prepared as much as you can, sisters and brothers. And be prepared to move out at any moment. With that being said, that brings this segment to a close. I will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. I'm Ali Kaj, and this is We Reflect the Light. This is where we look at current events through the lens of the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. That gives us detailed information on what is taking place in the world today and what is going to take place in the world in the near future from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible. Sisters and brothers, we are at war. Today we're going to be looking through the unsealed scriptures, connecting the scriptures with a person given using the scripture to identify exactly who each character is. Now, sisters and brothers, we're going to be showing exactly what America has planned to carry out on our nation. Sisters and brothers, we've been given a detailed message from the scriptures. So let's get right into the scriptures and bring to light what our enemies have in store for us and what the scriptures have, let me say it like this, and what the unsealed scriptures has shared with us to make us aware of what our enemies have in store or is attempting to carry out against our nation. Now, sisters and brothers, Exodus chapter 1, verse 9 through 10 states, "Look, he said to his people, the Israelites have become too numerous and too powerful for us. Come, let us deal shrewdly with them, or they will increase even more. And if a war breaks out, they may join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country. So, sisters and brothers, America has been dealing shrewdly with us. However, the unsealed scripture lets us know what their plans are. Now, sisters and brothers, America wants to keep our numbers down, wants to keep us from increasing in numbers. Thinking, knowing that one day we will rise or unify and rise up against them. Them knowing that they consciously are attacking us from every elevated place. Now, sisters and brothers, also here it states that we're going to leave the country. Now, this is shared with us. We're going to rise up against them and leave the country. However, America, do not want us, excuse me, sisters and brothers, to leave the country. Now, all right. Now, why is leaving the country stated like that? Now, sisters and brothers, in the scriptures, in the stories, in Exodus, Abram's seed would be enslaved in this strange land for 400 years. Moses in Exodus went to Pharaoh to share with Pharaoh. God shared, let his people go. However, Pharaoh refused to let God's people go, or to let God's people go. Now, so they don't want us to go. They don't want us to leave the country. Now, sisters and brothers, let us look at the Abrahamic covenant, and then we'll get into identifying the chief demon, Louis Farrakhan, who is Legion, who is the man of sin, the son of perdition, and we're going to give the knowledge, information that identifies the chief demon, Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, that identifies the man of sin, the son of perdition, and show how America is openly attacking our nation to keep us here in America, trying to sell us on taking reparations, to keep us from us seeing our vision and taking our vision and bringing our vision into reality, trying to get us to sell our birthright, which is the Abrahamic covenant, for a measly bowl of soup. Now, sisters and brothers, let's get into it. Let's get into it. Now, we can start here. Now, no, we'll come back to that. The Abrahamic covenant. Now, America is it shares with us truly. They have a plan to kill us all. The scripture gives us the understanding of their plan, the unsealed scriptures. The messenger of the covenant has shared through the unsealed scriptures of what America has planned for the original black man and woman here in America. Now, sisters and brothers, the Abraham vision and the Abrahamic covenant gives us a detailed message of what we're going to endure through in this time and for how long. Now, the covenant lets us know, the vision lets us know in detail what we will endure through. Now, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards they shall come out with great substance. But thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. And in the fourth generation they shall come hither again. For the iniquities of the Amorites are not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a flaming torch that passed between these pieces. Now, sisters and brothers, this is a clear, detailed message. Crystal clear. Now, Abram had this vision of his seed going through this horror, a vision of horror. So he's seen his seed go through this time of horror. Now, then God shared with Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be sojourners. That means temporarily staying in a land that is not theirs. This is a temporary stay. And in this land where they're temporarily staying, they will serve the people there. So they will be enslaved in this land where they're temporarily going to be. And they, meaning the people of that land, will afflict them for 100 years. So they will be afflicted 400 years by this nation whom they shall serve. Now, And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. Now, and afterwards they shall come out with great substance. Now, sisters and brothers, that means that is sharing with us that we will be in this land for 400 years being afflicted. Sisters and brothers, America has and is continuously afflicting the original black man and woman 24/7, 365 since we've been here in this land that does not belong to us, in this strange land. Now, the scripture lets us know that we'll be in this land and that nation will be there for 400 years. And that nation whom we serve will be judged. So we'll be in this land. That nation will be afflicting us. Then that nation will be judged. And after that nation is judged, we're coming out. We shall come out of that land, of the land of our afflictions, with great substance. And in the fourth generation, after the 400 years, after the judgment of America, of that nation, which is America, we're going to return hither. Return hither again. Now, sisters and brothers, so this is sharing with us that we are leaving this land of our affliction. Now, what lets us know we're leaving for sure? Verse 18 of the same chapter, Genesis 15. Now, the scripture states, sisters and brothers, in that day, in that God made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Now, sisters and brothers, The land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates, is Arabia. Now, God has given Abram seed this land. In the same day that Abram had this vision of horror. Now, sisters and brothers, let's go back. This 400-year period. Now, how, well, let me say it like this. Let's just get to the facts. 1619. The 1619 project is the official start date of slavery. So we have 1619 to 2019. That's 400 years. Then 2020 comes in with the plague, which they call COVID. That began the judgment of America. This plague killed the firstborn of America and of the Caucasian nation all over the planet and passed over the original black man and woman on the planet. There was no mass deaths or mass virus infections in Haiti, Africa, and the World Health Organization has the information available now, sharing with us, sharing with the world that they understood or had the knowledge now to say that the original man and woman was not being affected by this plague or COVID-19. It was passing over them. And we can see that in through the countries that we wasn't social distancing. It didn't go through Haiti, Africa. It wasn't affecting the original black man and woman. And China as well, where they say the plague or virus started at was in Wuhan. And China themselves said that actually they threw black people out of the country because they believed that blacks were just carriers and not being affected by the virus or COVID-19, which we know as the plague from the unsealed scriptures. The plague that began the judgment, identified to the world, a sign to the world that the world, America, and the world is under judgment. The judgment began exactly after the 400-year period. 1619 to 2019 and 2020 came in with the plague that killed the firstborn. Now, sisters and brothers, the firstborn, when you hear it, sounds like you're speaking about children. Oh, the firstborn, thinking that that's a child. No, sisters and brothers, the scripture speaks in a way that you have to pay attention to the words. The firstborn, those who are born first are the eldest. The oldest is born first. So it's speaking on the elderly. Now, knowing that it's speaking on the elderly and not a child, it's easy to identify that COVID was directly affecting the Caucasian nations, Caucasian nations over the planet, and it was specifically affecting the elderly, the firstborn. Now, by the millions, the firstborn, the elderly, were being affected and killed by the plague. Now, sisters and brothers, now that we understand that this is the base of what we are, our nation, are living out. These scriptures are directly connected to what we're witnessing in the world today. We are that nation. We are Abraham's seed that has been in this strange land and is still in that strange land, being afflicted 24/7, 365. America, sisters and brothers, since 2020, this world has not been the same. We're witnessing America fall as we speak. We're watching America and Britain, the two world powers, as well as false Israel. At war. And is being brought down. Now, we're witnessing their reality, the rulers of this world, being exposed for who they are, being exposed to the world of their nature. By their actions, we can see what they're about. Now, the world is witnessing this. Sisters and brothers. Now, America, Britain, false Israel, and the West has been watching genocide take place in the Middle East. The Middle East in Scripture is stated or called, shared, that this is heaven. Now, sisters and brothers, this same idea is relayed consistently to us from theologians, churches, from the nations. Every one of these nations speak on Arabia, Jerusalem, as the holy land of the world. So when you hear heaven, where would heaven be besides a place which even casual speaking in the Western world that they call, the nations call this landmass, the landmass holy. So holy in heaven, the holy land is heaven. Heaven is the holy place, the holy land. Now, sisters and brothers, now, America, let's say it like this, we, the original black man and woman, are looked down on by all the nations. Now, let me say it like this. We, as a people, with little to no effort, can prove without a doubt, mathematically, that we are the true seed of Abraham. Sisters and brothers, we can prove that the rulers right now of this world, America, Britain, and false Israel, as well as the dragon, who is the house of Saudi Arabia, are at war with the God's angel, Iran, Iran. Now, sisters and brothers, the world powers of this world as we know it, the rulers of this world, who has been ruling over the nations of the world, all of them, have found themselves losing their control over the world and are becoming more angered, more destructive, more violent in trying to hold on to their rule or power. We're witnessing this right now. Sisters and brothers, America's judgment is taking place. The judgment of the world is taking place right now. Why God's chosen people are still in the land of their affliction? Now, sisters and brothers, before we are brought out of this land with great substance. Now, sisters and brothers, America, Egypt refuses to let God's people go, refuses to let the original black man and woman go. Sisters and brothers, false Israel has stolen our identity. America and Britain has set up false Israel to keep us from recognizing, from understanding who we are, to block the truth of who we are from us, to keep this religious eschatology that they have conjured up and pushed on the world, to keep the original black man and woman from recognizing that we are the true seed of Abraham. Now, in 1948, false Israel was set up to counter Elijah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's claim that we are the true seed of Abraham. Now, sisters and brothers, we are being brought out of this land of our affliction with great substance. This land who afflicted us is being judged for their affliction of us, God's chosen people. Now, their rulership is coming to a quick end. Sisters and brothers, our rise is their destruction. Now, sisters and brothers, America, that's their affliction of us. They have been dealing, shrewdly trying to undermine our nation, decapitate our nation, destroy our nation. America first has attacked our nation, raped our woman, consistently for hundreds of years, trying to wipe our seed, trying to destroy, trying to get rid of the true seed of Abraham by killing the male and raping our women, having our woman carry their seed. Sisters and brothers, now, their seed, this seed of the Caucasian white man who we know from the supreme wisdom lessons from Master Fard Muhammad through the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has shared with us what, who, and what a devil is. Now, sisters and brothers, America, this Caucasian white man, this devil, has produced a nation of hybrid Caucasian white devils in black skin by the raping, of our woman. Now, sisters and brothers, America, our enemies, have set an open, a hidden enemy amongst our nation. The scriptures call them wolves in sheep's clothing. They're also called in scriptures the chaff and the wheat, meaning that they look like us, they walk like us, they talk like us, but they're not us. They're black in color. However, they do not have our nature, and they're not of our bloodline. They're not from our seed. They're from the seed of their devil fathers. Now, sisters and brothers, America has labeled us animals. America has treated us as if we are animals to justify their actions against us as a people, as a nation. Now, sisters and brothers, the scriptures, the unsealed scriptures, lets us know that America has consistently been afflicting our nation. The scripture said to keep our numbers down, to keep us from rising, from trying to keep us from rising. That we're more powerful than them. Sisters and brothers, America is used all types of warfare against us. America is consistently at war with us, attacking us 24/7, 365. Sisters and brothers, America is attacking our babies, our children, through abortion, through food, through vaccines, through viruses that they have shot up in or put into our black males, our brothers, with studies. While they were studying our brothers, they were basically watching as our brothers were being contracted, putting these syphilis in our brothers, shooting our male sons up, causing autism at high rates, using their penal system against our sisters and our brothers, locking us up by the millions, bringing drugs into our neighborhoods, keeping us ignorant, taking jobs out of the country, sending them overseas. Sisters and brothers, consistently under attack from every elevated place. Now, sisters and brothers, this is what the scriptures are sharing with us, that we are living through. Now, sisters and brothers, we are in the time of the judgment of America in the world. We're living in the time where we will rise overnight as a mighty army, a mighty nation. We will get our new mind, which is the INJI mind. And we will use the 5 pillars of Islam to protect us. We will use our minds to bring in our new reality. Sisters and brothers, this is why we have been consistently under attack. Now, sisters and brothers, there's a blackface devil, a demon. And the scripture shares with us that this blackface demon has the nation of Islam possessed, has our nation possessed. Sisters and brothers, scripture shares with us that this demon name is Legion. And Legion, sisters and brothers, stands for Louis Eugene Grounds. NY backwards. Now, sisters and brothers, Legion here we have it. Louis Eugene Grounds, NY backwards. This is Louis Farrakhan's father, Percival Clark, who is a Caucasian white man and a Jew from Barbados. Now, sisters and brothers, we have a demonology chart up top. This is scientific, biological fact. This is a fact. A man carries the seed. So if you have let's say it like this, the original man and original woman, you're going to get an original child. Original man and another woman, other than just say Caucasian or we're gonna leave it as it is. Right here is a Caucasian or white. Not even gonna call her Caucasian, just white or whatever it is. the original man is going to produce an original child. It's going to have the original seed from the father. Now, the color can vary. How it comes out, what color it is, how white or light the child may be. Now, on the other hand, it's another reason, the same reason that Louis Farrakhan and his student ministers consistently share with you, and the supreme wisdom lessons share with us, that Master Prophet Muhammad is white in color. However, Master Prophet Muhammad is an original man. Why? Because they consistently share that Master Prophet Muhammad's father is a original man, is a black man. He's original. So that makes Master Prophet Muhammad original. Now, they preach and teach and hold on to that fact. However, when it comes to using that same scientific biological fact, they act like it doesn't apply to Louis Farrakhan, when his father is a Caucasian white man named Percival Clark, who is a Jew from Barbados. Now, Louis Farrakhan's father's mother and father, Louis Farrakhan, states himself that they're Caucasian, they're Caucasian Jews as well. Sephardic Jews. Now, which makes Louis Farrakhan the seed of his Caucasian white grandfather, the seed of his his Caucasian white father's Percival. Louis Farrakhan is a seed of his father, making him a white Caucasian in the skin tone of his mother, in black skin. So he has a black, his skin came out black. So he has color in him. However, he's the seed of his father. Now, sisters and brothers, Legion is what the scripture share with it. Now, sisters and brothers, America has a plan to attack us all, to get rid of us. Now, the scripture said, let us deal shrewdly with them. Sisters and brothers, America has a trap set. Now, we're going to bring a clear understanding of what the scripture is sharing. Now, sisters and brothers, false Israel, America has set false Israel up, written in America, has set false Israel up and gave them our identity. So, false Israel, sisters and brothers, are going to be destroyed first to remove that religious eschatology and the lie that false Israel is God's chosen people. Now, sisters and brothers, America knows that when false Israel is destroyed, that we will wake up and rise overnight. That we, the original black man and woman, will know without a shadow of a doubt admit that we are the true seed of Abraham. And we're going to rise overnight. Now, sisters and brothers, let's get into what the scriptures are sharing, what America laws are sharing, how the laws, the scriptures, and reality is all sharing what the unsealed scriptures are sharing with us, what the plan is for us that America has set to spring against on us as a people, sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers, this is Mark 5, chapter 5, verses 6 through 10. I don't know why it's not up. However, it states, when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshipped him. And he cried out with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? And I implore you by God that you do not torment me." For he said to him, "Come out of the man, unclean spirit." Then he asked him, "What is your name?" And he answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Also, he begged him earnestly that he not send them out of the country. Sisters and brothers, our nation of Islam is demon possessed. The chief demon recognizes the messenger of the covenant. The chief demon recognizes Suleiman. The chief demon recognizes Joshua, the Messiah. The chief demon recognizes Daniel, the prophet. And the chief demon knows that the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Joshua, Messiah, the Lamb, the Lion from the tribe of Judah, is exposing him with the spirit of his mouth in the brightness of his coming. So much so the chief demon said, I implore you by God that you do not torment me. Why you torment me? He's exposing Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, who has turned the NOI backwards. Now, sisters and brothers, we're going to bring the scriptures and what's taking place in the real world, the reality, the America and their laws. We're going to give a clear, detailed understanding from the unsealed scriptures and reality in who and what the scriptures are saying and who they are identifying with radar, with biology, pinpointing exactly who's being spoken on without a shadow of a doubt, because the scriptures are in detail, multiple scriptures all pointing out exactly who this devil, this legion, this chief demon is. Sisters and brothers, as well as their plan to deal truly with us and how they attempted to get away with their plan. However, the unsealed scriptures, the message of the covenant, has given us in detail the plan. So we are aware of the plan far in advance. So, sisters and brothers, you must understand the plan so that we can be aware and utilize the information and knowledge to be successful in eluding or planning to ahead to toward their plan. So we're going to be successful in overcoming their plot. Is we will be aware of all that they plan. Now, sisters and brothers, excuse me. All right. Now let's go on to this. Says, he said, come out of the man, unclean spirit. Then ask him, the demon, what is your name? And he answered, my name is Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds. NOI backwards. Which turned the NOI backwards? For we are many. Also, he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Sisters and brothers, Louis Farrakhan, his student ministers, those that are with him, shared that they're not going nowhere. They share with us that we're not going anywhere. He tells us that God is a lie, that the scriptures is lying. Matter of fact, he refuses to read the Abrahamic covenant. Why do he refuse to read the Abrahamic covenant, sisters and brothers? Because he knows that the covenant of Abraham does not apply to him. He knows that it applies to the seed of Abraham, and he understands and knows that he is not the seed of Abraham, he is the seed of his devil father. And that is why he consistently share that God is about his heart. It's not when the scriptures directly share is Abraham's seed, but it's his heart. Devils ain't devils no more. In his words. This is what he teaches. Now, sisters and brothers, we're going off scripture. I'm not going to put a direct time on it. We're going to just speak on this and get it out. This understanding of this, their plan, their plot, their scheme to, their plot to attack us all. Sisters and brothers, from the scriptures and from their words, from their laws, from what they have put into existence, put in place to keep us from recognizing who we are. Their laws in real time of how they are moving to apply their attack on us. Sisters and brothers, all the scriptures and reality, everything is all happening and being witnessed and seen at the exact same at the same time, because the scriptures are being lived out. So now the scriptures are occurring, the unsealed scriptures are occurring in real time. Sisters and brothers, now the Supreme Wisdom Lessons shares with us what is a devil. It's a grafted man, which is made weak and wicked. So this grafted man is made weak and wicked. Another thing in that, he says that the children of Israel are mightier than than us. Let you know that they're grafted, they're weaker than us and wicked. Now, or any grafted live germ from the original is a devil. It's going to be weaker than the original. It's grafted. You can these things are easily done now. In grafting, in the grafting process of plants. Now, sisters and brothers, and can you reform devil? Answer. No, all the prophets have tried to reform him, devil, but were unable. So they have agreed that it cannot be done unless we graft him back to the original man, which takes 600 years. So instead of losing time grafting him back, they have decided to take him off the planet, who numbers only 1 to every 11 original people. Now, sisters and brothers, again, their judgment, the time of judgment, is sharing that we are taking them, instead of losing time grafting them back, they have decided, who is they? We have decided to take him off the planet. So he knows his time is up. He knows that our rise is against his existence. Where we are existential threat to their reality, to their existence. Sisters and brothers, our rise is their destruction. These are reasons of their actions, of their plans to get rid of us. They understand that the scripture shares with that. Wait a minute, let me say it like this, because I won't say understand scripture. They know consequence. What they don't, because that's like saying this man is made weak and wicked. However, sisters and brothers, they understand who we are. They know from 2020 coming in with the plague what that meant. Sisters and brothers, false Israel celebrates the Passover every year. Now, sisters and brothers, the celebration of the Passover is the celebration of the Passover of the plague that killed the firstborn of Egypt. They celebrate this every year as to say they were passed over by the plague. However, when the plague actually happened, when the time actually came about 2020, when God's or Abraham's seed, God's chosen people, 400 years really came about or ended, and the plague came in, false Israel understood exactly what the plague was, because it decimated the firstborn of their nation, of this Caucasian, they all around the world. And they witnessed the people, they understand the people who the plague passed over. So this is, sisters and brothers, these are signs of the time. Letting they know that this gave them the knowledge of their time is short, that the judgment had to begin, because they have been plagued by what they call COVID-19. And we were passed over. Sisters and brothers, why don't I just read? Excuse me, sisters and brothers. Okay. Before you may worship him, and he said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God?" Okay, I must have did it twice. Now, sisters and brothers, we just go straight through it, and we just bring it together as we go. Thessalonians 2:3-7. And it states, "Let no one deceive you by any means, for the day will not come, unless the falling away come first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God." Sisters and brothers, the first line shares with us, "Let no one deceive you by any means." So the first thing we would say, well, let nobody deceive us about what? It's telling us not to be deceived, let no one deceive you. So the first thing we should be looking for is what is deceived by what? Because the scripture said, let no one deceive you by any means. For that day will not come unless the falling away comes first. So the falling away has to come first. So let nobody share with you anything else. Don't be deceived, because the falling away will come first, and the man of sin is revealed after the falling away comes first. The son of perdition, the son of hell, the son of the synagogue of Satan. However, those things will not happen until the falling away took place comes first. Now, sisters and brothers, the falling away is the Nation of Islam being beheaded. The leadership of the Nation of Islam was beheaded, had no leaders, and the Nation of Islam was liquidated and destroyed by Legion, Bush and G. Brown, who turned things around backwards. Listen. Because all these things is easily proven. Easily. The scriptures, the details in the scriptures is so detailed that a fool can err. A child cannot make an error. Only someone that refuses the haters of truth. Demons, that their nature is to lie. They can't go against it. They know that their nature. They're following their nature. Sisters and brothers, the Nation of Islam fell away. Louis Farrakhan and Wallace destroyed the Nation of Islam. Louis Farrakhan did not take the leadership role when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was taken. Now, he allowed Wallace to take leadership of the Nation of Islam when Wallace was already kicked out, banned, from the Nation of Islam by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for teaching other than the Supreme Wisdom lesson, for adding in teaching what he learned in teaching Sunnism, Al-Islam. Now, sisters and brothers, these things, what the scriptures show us now, the Nation of Islam was no longer there. Louis Farrakhan and Wallace started a whole nother faction, a whole nother group called the Balaams. Louis Farrakhan was Wallace's head imam of the Balaams. They got rid of the Nation of Islam. Started the Balaams. They sold all the assets, stole all the money, liquidated all the assets of the Nation of Islam, of the members, because Elijah Muhammad didn't have any of those things, the nation assets in his name. They were in the name of the members, in the name of the nation. The nation was the members, and they allowed Louis Farrakhan and Wallace to destroy and take the Nation of Islam. Now, these are facts that can be proven. Louis Farrakhan didn't take leadership of the Nation of Islam until or after the falling away took place. And after the falling away, And the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition. Now, we're going to get into that son of perdition, the man of sin and son of perdition. However, let's look at that. Let no one deceive you by any means, for the day will not come, unless the following way comes first. Louis Farrakhan says, and his student ministers say, they say the same thing. He said they repeat it on a regular, that they're exposing the false Jews, or the synagogue say, and causing them to fall away. Now, that's saying it, and that's saying the exact opposite of what the scripture is sharing with us. So they're saying, it said, now the scripture saying, do let no one deceive you by any means, for the falling away will come first. But in their whole explanation, in their whole narrative, they're saying the exact opposite of what the scripture shared will happen in the order that the scripture said was happening. Will happen. They're saying it in the opposite order. So the scripture shares with us, let no one deceive you. So it's telling you that this man of sin, this son of perdition, will be telling you the opposite. He will be trying to deceive you and share with you that they're falling away. Like he's saying, that he exposed the synagogue of Satan and caused them to fall away. That's the exact opposite. Now, sisters and brothers, the man of sin is revealed after the falling away. The son of perdition. Now, let's do this. Let's do this. I want to do. All right. So, man of sin. What is the color man? We don't have it here, but the Supreme Wisdom lesson say color man. The Caucasian white man is the Caucasian white man. Yaku's grafted devil. The skunk on planet Earth. Is it what? That's not verbatim. Who's color man? Who is the color man? The Caucasian white man. Or Yaku's grafted devil. The skunk of the planet Earth. Now, sisters and brothers, what is devil? Answer: a grafted man who is made weak and wicked. So we know that this man of sin is weak and wicked. He's the son of hell, the son of perdition. He's from the synagogue of the Satan. Now, so, and can you reform a devil? Answer: no. All the prophets have tried to reform him, devil, but were unable. So they have agreed that it cannot be done unless we grafted him back to the original man, which takes 600 years. So instead of losing time grafting him back, they decided to take him off the planet. who numbers only 1 to every 11 original people. Sisters and brothers, you cannot reform a devil. However, Louis Farrakhan, who is the seed of a devil, is sharing with us that he is able to reform a devil. Now, sisters and brothers, none of the prophets were able to reform a devil. Now, this demon, Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, who's turned the NY backwards, who father is a Caucasian white man and a Jew, shared that is telling us that he can reform the devil. Sisters and brothers, the lies, he lies just like his father, the devil. The liars from the beginning, there is no truth in them. He says the opposite of Scripture. The Scriptures say that no one deceive you by any means. But he tells you the exact opposite of what the Scripture shares. Then he shares with us, that he's going to reform a devil. He shares with us that God is a lie. God is lying to us. We're not going nowhere. We're staying here in the land of our affliction. However, sisters and brothers, Legion, the chief demon, begged Jesus to don't send him out the country. Did we just read that? Legion begged to not be sent out of the country. What is Louis Farrakhan sharing? He loves America. He don't want to see America go by the way of Sodom and Gomorrah, Babylon. He wants to save America. He wants to make America great. When the hell was America great? Louis Farrakhan said, we're cursed black. We're nappy head, ugly big nose, and our hair should be like our eyebrows. Then we curse. We're sinful. We need to atone. This is, sisters and brothers, this is what the chief demon is sharing. But he's a demon. He's a crafted man who's made weak and wicked. Who he can't be reformed because he's crafted. He's a devil. So he can't be reformed, so he definitely can't reform another devil. Now, sisters and brothers, what does America? Well, let's walk through all this. Yeah, we're gonna walk through this because this lets you know what the scriptures share. It calls him the hired servant. The hired servant. We're gonna explain. We're gonna show you how. Scripture lets us know he's hired. He was for hire. He's employed. He's employed by the government of the United States. He's employed by the synagogue of Satan. He's employed by the house of Saudi Arabia. The Sunni Muslims. He's employed by he's a hired servant. The chief demon is Louis Farrakhan. One who is not a shepherd and does not own the sheep, no sooner sees the wolf coming than he leaves the sheep and runs away, and the wolf worries and scatters them. That's what Louis Farrakhan done. He didn't stand up to no one. The wolf, he stood up to no one, and he joined the wolf. Then he ran away from the wolf and left the sheep, and the wolf scattered the sheep. The nation of Islam was scattered. Wallace, the members took off, getting away from getting out of there. He got rid of all the access, everything the nation, everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad So it's Master Muhammad. You put together. And the hired servant ran off, which he shared. Louis Farrakhan, the chief, shares with you. He never believed. He never believed that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, God, was a messenger. He believed that. That's why that Prophet Muhammad was Allah's last messenger. He believed that the originator is the God. He didn't believe in no that's why Muhammad. He shares that. He shared that. That's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he will be his biggest hypocrite. He said his heart dropped to his stomach when he was told that. Sisters and brothers, let's move on. We're going to keep it because we got a lot to go through. Beware of false prophets. This is Matthew 7:15, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly, they are raving wolves. That's a demon. In sheep's clothing, this is what the scripture is calling a sheep in sheep's clothing. That means he got black skin. He's coming in the original man's clothing. In his skin. But inwardly, in the inside, he's a wolf, a raving wolf. He's a Caucasian white devil in black skin. He's a raving wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay. Let us. I'm gonna hold it. Now, before we go to that, we're gonna go back and finish this out. Just brothers. We're gonna go into our next. Now, so we know he's a graphic man. We know he's a devil. We know he's of the synagogue of Satan. That's where we was going. I can say that. All right. All right. Now, all right. Now, it states he's a man of sin and the son of perdition. Now, he's the son of his white Caucasian father, who is a Jew of the synagogue of the Satan. So he's the son of perdition. He's the son of perdition. He's the son of the synagogue of Satan. He's a direct seed. He's from the direct line of a Jew. I just said it. He's a Jew. Louis Farrakhan Legion, Louis J. Brown is a direct seed of, he's a direct son of the synagogue of Satan. He's the son of perdition. That's now. So this is elementary. This is 1, 2, 3, ABC type thinking. Because this is how easy it is. You can't go scientific, biological fact that you are what your father is. He is of his Jewish father. He's of the synagogue of Satan now. Okay, sisters and brothers. Now, which clearly brings us to this. Louis Farrakhan is a black-faced Caucasian Jew. This is fact. He's the man of sin. He's weak and wicked by nature, and he's the son of perdition, a son of the synagogue of Satan. And where is he? What is he doing? He's calling himself God. He's telling you he is better. He knows more than God. He's calling God a liar. He's calling the scriptures a liar, a lie. He's telling you what he's saying is the truth. But the scripture is giving you detailed understanding of exactly what he is and who he is. He's
modesty, self-control. All of those things are against the American dream. Understand that the American dream is totally against our nature, sisters and brothers. To escape this reality and thrive in our new reality. Returning to our nature of discipline,